On this episode of Deleted WrestleZone, we're going to talk about this week's Wednesday Night War. AEW had the debut match of FTR versus the Butcher and the Blade. We also had Cody Rhodes defending his TNT Championship for the second week in a row for his little open challenge. And many things happened in AEW. We even got Hijo de Fantasma, who is the new NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Um, and we also got a mixed tag team match between the power couples between Keith Lee and Mia Yim versus Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, and of course Adam Cole facing off against Dexter Loomis. So all of that is happening today on this episode of Deleted WrestleZone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everybody, welcome to Deleted WrestleZone. I am J-Rod here. Today we're doing a lot of pro wrestling stuff, so we cover from NXT, New Japan, AEW, all wrestling promotions, matches, championships, wrestlers, you name it. So this week, Wednesday Night War was very interesting. They were in somewhat of a tie. Now, why has that happened? I know I mentioned a few times that both AEW and NXT were unable to make it to the, how do I say, the top, the million viewer mark. It already happened before in the first weeks. If you recall, when NXT was doing it first, they were in a million viewer mark. Same thing with AEW. But right now things are not been the same. As you all know, we're still dealing with the crisis with the pandemic, and of course the whole protesting, rioting that's been going on across the country. People are mostly been focusing on the news. But as you know, I always talk about what are the views and the ratings from both shows. So let's start with AEW. So they gained about 677,000 views with the rating of 0.23. Somehow it just uh, um, decreased to the percentage from the previous week. NXT, they had about 673,000 views with the rate of 0.20. So basically, they're like close enough to be a tie. And thing is, we can't blame them for how things are going. I love both shows. I enjoy both of them. I can DVR both of them at the same time and not do that. But that's how it is. We can't just go saying AEW sucks and NXT sucks. No, both shows are great. I enjoy it. If you're not a diehard professional wrestling fan, then you guys better get off the bus and trust me what I'm talking about. So right now, let's talk about first with AEW as the winner of this week. Hey everybody, so right now let's talk about AEW. As you know, was a very interesting episode. Chris Jericho, the La Champion, or as those who are not fans of Jericho call him La Loser, he actually ended up doing commentary and joining Excalibur, JR, and Tony Schiavone. The first match of the week was the debut match of FTR versus the Butcher and the Blade. Now, this has been one of those moments. I have to say, this match was exactly what it meant to be. Now, FTR, if you guys saw, they've always been like the kind of tag team that say they play by the rules. They don't narrowly jink. Now, when you make a tag, they have 10 seconds to get out of the ring or whatever. They've always coordinated that, and they play it by that. They don't need to do flips. They don't need to do spots. And that kind of made it great. And they cut the ring in half in order to ensure that their opponent do not tag his partner. And that's something that is amazing. Something that we felt, as if you're fans of tag team, that you guys know what I mean. So, but yeah, there was some great matches. It was a great match, and FTR won their first victory. So it's a matter of time that maybe we'll see them down the line becoming AEW champions. But their primary goal is to face the Young Bucks. Now, post match, the Young Bucks show up to introduce themselves. And all of a sudden, while they were talking, the Butcher and the Blade had enough of their crap and decided to beat them up. And then in coming to their defense is the Super Bad Death Squad, Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. So they want to make a name for themselves in the tag team division, but it's now been announced their Super Bad Death Squad will be facing the Young Bucks next week. So this is going to be interesting. But while this was happening, Omega and Page came out to help out, since they don't know what to make of it. Now, we do know that Page and Omega are going to be facing the best friends at Fyter Fest. But before I move on, I forgot to mention throughout the entire match between FDR and the Butcher and the Blade, we had the coaches scouting. We had Arn Anderson was right there. So was Tully Blanchard. Right behind them, way back of the aisle, was Sean Spears just looking right at him. And then you see in another section, Jake the Snake Roberts and Lance Archer. They're scouting maybe for new talent. But as you all know, FTR are one of the biggest free agents right now. It's still no word yet if FTR are now signed or they're just going to make just appearances. Who knows? We'll just wait and see what's going to happen. Now, the next thing we do is the interview with the Natural Nightmares. As you all know, QT has been, falling in love with Allie. It's still unclear what is her angle. As you all know from the beginning, there has been no love lost between Allie and Brandy in the past. And it's still unclear what's her intention. And apparently it's been booked for next week that the Natural Nightmares are going to face the AEW World Tag Team Champion Omega and Page. Now this is going to be interesting. I don't know what to make of it, but it'll be awesome. Then we have a women's tag team match between Penelope Ford and Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander and our AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida. Now, I'm going to mention something to you guys right after I talk about this. This was a good match too. I enjoyed it. As you know, the ranking is with Nyla Rose is number 1, Chris Statlander number 2, Penelope Ford is number 5, and I forgot who's 3 and 4. But the biggest upset was in this match was Penelope Ford pinning Hikaru Shida, and she did with the assistance of Nyla Rose using the championship on her. So that's that, but Nyla Rose is entitled for a rematch against Hikaru Shida, and speculation is it may take place during Fyter Fest. I can't wait to see that. But of course, don't forget that no good Kip Sabian got in the way. What else? Now I want to talk to you guys for a second before I move on. Chris Statlander posted something. Now I need to know from you guys. Chris Statlander said that she and Hikaru Shida are the best tag team in the women's roster. Do you think AEW should make an AEW tag team division? Me, I'm up for it because I know they can legitimize. WWE hasn't done anything like that for their women's tag team. And trust me, they can make it better. They never broken the word. They always make it a priority. But if you think that they should, leave a comment down below. Now let's move on. As you all know, Darby Allin is still not cleared to wrestle. But he got cleared to skateboard thanks to the legendary skateboarder Tony Hawk. And Darby is not on his A game. He's been messing up constantly, and it's kind of like he keeps falling down. That was like, I don't know if it's a joke or what, but it's so weird. Then we had a video package with Britt Baker on her road to recovery. As you know, she's saying that she's a role model, that people should pay attention to her. but you know how she is. And she was there too. Now, the Inner Circle had a six-man tag team match. We had members of Inner Circle, Hagar, Santana, and Ortiz versus the Best Friend and Orange Cassidy. This began 2 weeks ago when Orange Cassidy kind of like interrupted the Inner Circle's interview, and Jericho sent his two pit bulls, or Santana Ortiz, to attack Orange Cassidy during that battle royale. And of course, last week, Orange Cassidy showed up when Jericho was demanding for Mike Tyson to show up. And this match was set up, and it was a good match, but we cannot excuse about Orange Cassidy's ability. Now, we can say that some people who are old school, you still don't get it, so get off the bus, if you know what I mean. But it was great. Not to mention, um, Orange Cassidy picked up the victory for his team. But once it happened, oh my God, Jericho showed up with his bat Floyd and attacked him to send them a message that they're not playing around and Orange Cassidy's a loser, that he shouldn't be there, you know. And they brought in a bag of oranges and whacked him in the head, and then they squeezed the juice out of him, tried to. But it's also been confirmed that the Best Friends will be facing members of the Inner Circle, the sub faction, like Sex Gods, Sammy Guevara and Jericho. Then we had an interview with Billy Gunn. Now, Tony Schiavone was talking, but MJF, he's always tries to steal the attention. He's saying, enough of this guy. This guy is nothing. All of this, like he's saying that it's pathetic that Cody is not giving him a title shot. That he should be in the running for the AEW Championship. So he hasn't done it, but he keeps interfering, even though it wasn't his deal. And of course, it's been now told next week as well, MJF will be facing Billy Gunn because Billy can't stand him. Then we had Colt Cabana versus Sammy Guevara, and this one was a pretty good match. Colt seemed like he was in control of the match, but at some point Sammy got it and all this and that, and every move that Colt Cabana of his bag of trick tried to be fancy to find a way to pick up the victory, kind of how to say, cost him the match with Sammy. But out of nowhere, the Dark Order show up, and Brody Lee shows up, extended his hand to get him up. It's still unclear whether if he's going to join or not. And as soon as everything done, Sammy was like being cocky. Here comes Matt Hardy, and I don't know what to think of it, but he was transforming into all his different personalities, and Sammy doesn't know what to make of it. He ran because when you see Damascus, you know he's not the kind of guy you want to be messing with, and it's so funny how it went. Then we had a video package with Joey Janela where he's still trying to figure out what's his purpose. He was out drinking in a bar, and then he bumps into Sonny Kiss and this nice car. I don't know what kind of car is it, but it was great. Then we had then Daja Gonzalez was trying to get an interview with Colt Cabana to find out what is going on. What is the deal with Dark Order getting in, telling him to join? And that's when things went. Colt Cabana knocked on Mr. Brody Lee's door, and he went inside. It's like, it looks like that Colt may join the Dark Order. So we don't know what to make of it. Then we had backstage with Alex Marvez trying to get a thing with John Moxley. Apparently, Moxley had enough of Brian Cage getting into his head, so he was like, wants a piece of him, but Taz warned him. But of course, Brian Cage showed up, and they took the beat down in the parking lot, and Cage just put him through the windshield of a car. We don't know how he will be for Fyter Fest, but hopefully he can be prepared. Now let's go to the main event, which was the AEW TNT Championship between Mark Quinn and Cody Rhodes. Now, keep in mind, Mark Quinn a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, injured his foot during a more of dive out of the ring with Isaiah Cassidy, and he injured himself badly. But from what I heard, that he is was okay to wrestle, and he taped up his foot. But man, that match was great. There was some great spots. My favorite spot is this one I never seen by anybody. But Mark Quinn did something I never seen. They called it the corkscrew DDT. I never seen anything like it. I know some of you saying, is that even possible? Who knows? But of course, the victory goes to Cody, and he won. But as soon as he was celebrating, here comes Inner Circle member Jake Hager, and to me, it sounded like he wants a piece of the TNT Championship to go straight to Inner Circle. They believe that that's how it belongs to them. It should be with them because they're dominant. And of course, Jake is the most. He's trying to take out Cody, and here comes Private Party and Hardy to take out Jake Hager, and here comes Sammy and Santana Ortiz to even the score. And of course, Cody gave the perspective: you want a title shot? You got it in Fyter Fest. So now it's been announced: Hagar will get a piece of the will get his title shot at Fyter Fest. So this is going to be interesting. So my final thoughts of this: it was a good show. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel they could have done it better. I think the one things that kind of gotten off for me was let's see, like some of the stories that they put in, were okay. The matches were okay, but I felt like they didn't have that one match that could be the match of the night. So it's okay. At least we'll see that down the line. So I think that's it for AEW Dynamite. So let's move on with NXT. Alright, so we're back doing NXT. It started out with Undisputed Air coming out. Now, you probably ask yourselves, what happened to Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong? The last time we saw them, they were put in a trunk of a car by Dexter Loomis. And Dexter Loomis kind of messed with Roderick Strong's head. They're still traumatized. They were dehydrated. And of course, Cole was scheduled to face Dexter Loomis in a non title match. And of course, throughout the entire segment, Roderick Strong was going crazy, claiming he was seeing Dexter Loomis right with the fans, at the crowd. It's so hilarious. I think that's one of those best stories where you have that psycho that you don't even know what the hell is he thinking. But yeah, and of course, the more, as soon as they leave the ring and Roderick Strong still sees him, he's still going crazy. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to make of it. Cole is trying to tell him, you need therapy. You need therapy. I need you guys to get your A game on because they still need to be dominant. But as soon as that happened, here comes Keith Lee, who's saying that he wants a piece of Cole for the title. And of course, we all know Cole. He feels like nobody is worthy for the title, and that no one's gonna take the title from him. So that's what it is. As soon as that happened, Lee and Mia Yim were on our way to the ring to be in a match against mixed tag team match against the Garganos, Johnny and Candice. This match was, I don't see it. It was one of the good ones, but I'll skip ahead. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae won, but this one was because the way it was distracted. I didn't feel like it had that mixed tag team thing that deserve. I feel they can do better in that. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Then we had an interview with Cameron Grimes. Now Cameron Grimes claims he has nothing to worry. He beat Finn Balor once, and he can do it again. But Damian Priest We all know he lost against him at NXT In Your House, but he punched him in the jaw. So basically, we can't count out what happened. Now, we had an interesting tag team match with the members of the Bevan's Enterprise, Indus Sure, those two big, gigantic guys, versus a guy named Mikey and Mike. I don't know. They're let's just call it a squash match. And of course, Indus Share actually won this one. It was like very easy, simple. Now we jump in with interview. The ref who was placed to officiate the match between Cameron Grimes and Finn Balor. He was talking to William Regal on Zoom or whatever you see him, and he telling him that Cameron Grimes has a broken jaw, and William Regal wants to talk to him. So basically, he's starting to see that maybe he's just BSing the whole thing. As soon as the ref goes and Cameron Grimes was talking to these ladies, he was telling him that and he said he hurt his jaw, and he told him, prepare for your match. So basically, Cameron Grimes doesn't want to face him because he's looking for excuse to look out, but that's how it was. So it did not work. Then we talk about the newest team that will face against Imperium for the NXT Tag Team Championship, Rizango. Now, they've been like a comedy relief team much of the time since they were there, but now they're taking things serious. Like they are feeling like it's time to put up our A game, and I feel it's going to be great to see them next week against Imperium for the tag team titles. This is going to be an interesting match. Now, the aftermath of what happened at In Your House, they explained that Tommaso Ciampa didn't say a word. He didn't have any comment. He was the last one to leave. Full Sail, it's still unclear what is happening. So it's still unclear what's been happening with them. And then we had an interview with Rhea Ripley about, getting back to get her title back, even though Io Shirai's the one. I don't know where Robert Stone is trying to be that guy to bring recognition to the top stars, but Rhea Ripley's not interested, But she took out Robert Stone like a twig. Now let's jump into the match. Cameron Grimes and Finn Balor. Like, much of this match was great. I love it, because Cameron Grimes, who is now being recognizable as the guy who will take on anybody. Finn Balor, we know his reputation. I don't need to repeat it. You don't need to hear it. But it was a great match. I enjoyed it. And it took many times over for either of them to find a way to take them out and put them away. And it kind of went on that path. And I enjoyed it. And I love it. So, but Finn Balor took the victory, and this was retribution. Now it's like one-on-one, and Cameron Grimes, in an exclusive interview, he said he's not going to let this go. So basically, we may see a long-standing feud between Cameron Grimes and Finn Balor. The next match was a women's match between Dakota Kay and Casey Cantazano. I mean, if you guys don't know who Casey Cantazano is, she was part of the American Ninja Warrior. Man, she put a great performance against Dakota Kay, and I enjoyed it. But frankly, Dakota Kay actually won the match. As soon as the match was over, they decided to give her a beatdown, and Casey's friend, Kaden Carter, tries to help, but it was too much due to Raquel Gonzalez's powerhouse, how she is. It's practically, we may see another long-standing feud between Dakota Kai and Raquel versus Casey and Kaden Carter. But we do know that Dakota Kai has her eyes set for the championship, but we'll see where they go from there. And of course, the interesting is, after the defeat of Matt Riddle, Timothy Thatcher looks like he's forming a stable group. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to be similar as Catchpoint, if you guys are familiarized with those guys. But yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see that. So it's still unclear who it is. Now we jump into oh the to the champion of the night, Hijo del Fantasma. As you know, he has won the cruiserweight in the finals against Drake Maverick. Drake, on the other hand, came out to congratulate him and tell him that that match was special, not because he got a job back, because Hijo Fantasma has proven what a great wrestler he has become, and he did state that he would love to be in a match against him to face him because he believes himself he can still be that he can beat him. And of course, as soon as Hijo de Fantasma was about to shake his hand, here comes the two masked men who's been harassing, who kidnapped Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wild, and been trying to kidnap Hijo de Fantasma. They surround the ring, but out of nowhere, Fantasma turned his attention to Drake Maverick. And I'm gonna pause right here for a minute or two. I did state it a long time ago that those two masked men are working for someone. And my initial assumption was Hijo de Fantasma, and I was right from the start. I knew he was playing the dirty game. So, and as soon as that happened, I was like, whoa, I knew it was gonna be that way. But I just didn't know when that will happen. But the way they took out Drake Maverick, he takes off his mask, and now he dubbing himself as Santo Escobar. And he says he's untouchable. But it later revealed the two masked men were in fact Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wild. So we don't know what this is about. We don't know who is this new team now, comprised with Santos, Joaquin, and Raul is still unclear. Hopefully down the line we get more information to understand who is this new stable faction. But I have a feeling that this rivalry between Maverick and Fantasma is far from over. Now, as we all know, Undisputed Era is still dealing with two of them are still dealing with the traumatized event that led to what happened at NXT Takeover in Your House. Apparently, Roderick Strong found a drawing where they see Undisputed Era bleed it out. And Roderick, I love how Dexter Loomis has been stalking Roderick. I think he's playing mind games with him. And I thought it was so hilarious. Now let's jump into the main event of that match. It was Dexter Loomis versus Adam Cole. Great match. I like it. It was so good, even though it was a non-title match. Dexter Loomis is being really creepy. I think the best moment is when he went under the ring. Fish and Strong went to chase him, but he ended up on the other side of the ring, got up and continued the beatdown. And even though the best part is they took out Bobby Fish, distracted the ref, and Strong applied Insiguri on Dexter Loomis, and allowing to Adam Cole to pick up the win. Now, what happened is, as soon as Dexter Loomis was like lying dead on the ground, Adam Cole, who's the kind of guy who tells people you will never earn an opportunity, you don't even deserve it. But as soon as that happened, he put him in that submission move. He's like trying to get out, and it took only two guys to break up Dexter Loomis from Adam Cole. And here comes Dream to give him the helping hand. As soon as the fight goes on, and oh my God, Dexter Loomis is still having traumatized. Is still trying to deal with Dexter Loomis getting into his head. Now, as soon as the ring was cleared, Adam Cole was the last one behind. As soon as he's like saying, "I told you, I am the champion. No one's gonna take this from me." Lights turned off from the main stage. It's still unclear what happened. And then the lights turn back on. Is the Angel Doom herself, Scarlet. Now, when Cole was seeing Scarlet, he was thinking, okay, Karrion Kross is here. But that wasn't the case. Scarlet showed up, pulls something from her back and put it in the ring, and it's one of those timers with the sand. And all fans are saying the same old thing. The crowd was saying, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. That is the sign that telling Cole your time is up. Now, my final thoughts for this. Would I would love to see Adam Cole versus Karrion Kross? Yes, I would love to see Karrion Kross beat Adam Cole for the title. And of course, there's no way Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong could help him because Kross is more dangerous than any other adversary. If you've seen what happened at these past few weeks, then you know what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to say this. What show was better between both AEW Dynamite and NXT? Well, to me, reviewing these shows, I feel, in my honest opinion, NXT was the better show. It felt like it was with some of the matches and the stories. I felt it was the better show. But it is what it is. The viewerships, the ratings, all of that. We can't change that. But like these guys from Square Circle, Psycho Babel says, at the end of the day, the fans win. That's how it works. So that's how I see it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of this week's Wednesday Night War. Stay tuned for more. I am planning to talk more, do a little quick review again for a while since I take a pause from NXT UK. But we'll see from there, and I'll be doing other things. I'm still working on the discussions of the Japanese edition that I'm working on. That is coming soon, so please be patient. So I think that's it for now. So I must bid all of you adieu. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang!